I'll get it started. Obviously, there's been a lot of different conversation, different opinions, different second opinions based on what is currently going on in our organization right now with select injuries. And, there's not much to continue to report on or update you on. I do not have an update on Murphy. You guys saw as well as we did, the hit that occurred, and she left the game. She did not return, and we don't have an update right now. In terms of the road trip that we're heading on, there's always a possibility that a player can maybe not start with us, but maybe join us halfway through. So that's always an option as well. So as of right now, and especially with the flight tomorrow, we don't have an update on our traveling roster exactly. So I just wanted to at least give you guys that update.
Hi, Laura. On your first goal, maybe most of the players would have shot right away. You chose to wait and score that goal. What made you make that decision?
Well, in the first period, I did shoot right away. Didn't go so well. I got back to the locker room, and all the girls told me to be a little more patient. So that was a little bit in my head. I talked to Anne too, and she gave me a few pointers or just thoughts on Murphy. So that helped, and I think I tried something different, to be honest. I'm happy it went in. I was a little scared I waited too long, but it all worked out.
Sorry, just to follow up on that. Kori, are you still surprised by what Laura can do?
No. Actually, that was the intermission interview. So the person who was interviewing me is like Laura's best friend. So we were talking about her, and she asked, like, what do we got to do to get Laura a goal? And I said, well, I think it's coming. And she puts in the work every single day, so she just continues to get better and better. And, I think that's kind of what has been created by our leaders in Montreal. Everybody continues to work, everybody continues to get better, and I think you get rewarded when you have that mindset.
Kori, moving on from Sunday's game, how did you prepare the team? How did you feel the team react?
Yeah, I thought it was a great response from our group. I think, and the messaging, I said before the game, like, our team has a lot of perspective. They're an experienced team. They've been through a lot of situations. They have a ton of games under their belt. We've all been a part of games on both sides where, maybe a lead depleted or you came back from a huge deficit. And as much as we don't want, a game to end like that, we thought we were able to pull quite a few positives from the game. And I think, we were able to work on some of the pieces that we wanted to touch on a little bit more thoroughly, which was the 5-on-6. And, our players are students of the game. And I think it stressed them out to know that there's more we want to know. And, we had a good long conversation about it with clips and, diagrams. And I thought that they handled it really well. And honestly, I think if our 5-on-5 game is sound, which it normally is, and we take care of those special situations, we're a pretty hard team to play against. So I was really happy for the girls that they were able to execute the 5-on-6 tonight.
Laura, you do seem to step up when Mary Philippe is out. How does that change your mindset, or how would you explain that?
Yeah, I think we all talked about it as a team. Obviously, Aaron and Pooh are irreplaceable. And honestly, every person when they leave the lineup, it's a tough spot to fill that void. And we didn't need anything magical. We didn't need anybody to do anything crazy. We just needed everybody to be the best version of themselves. And I think that's what you saw for most parts of tonight. Obviously, there was things that we could work on, things that we can do a little better. Myself included, a few too many turnovers. But I think at the end of the day, if we stuck together and we brought the best version of ourselves, the rest was going to take care of ourselves. And I think us as a leadership group too talked a lot about that. Like, she has a huge impact, whether it's on the ice, on the scoreboard, but also in this locker room. And she is still there. She's with us. She's laughing. She's lifting us up. She's still our leader. But I think it was important for us to all rally around her and then rally around this entire team.
Kori, do you see a change in Laura's game when Poulet is out? Are you feeling like she wants to take control of the game a little more?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're always battling each other to see who can take control of the game first, and that's a positive, healthy environment to have. And I think Laura steps up. Doobie steps up. Great 2 games for Doobie in a position that she hasn't been in all season, and I think that Stace is going to be that positive, vocal, lead by experience type of leader on the ice, and she uplifts everybody else. So when there's no quit in her game, I think that helps everybody rally as well. And I thought we saw a lot of really great versions of our players tonight. And I could go through the lineup and say something about every single player that stepped up and did something small that made a huge difference in the win tonight.
Catherine, non seulement tu as marqué ton premier but de la saison, mais tu as joué pour la première fois plus de 15 minutes cette saison aussi, j'imagine. Ça fait du bien d'avoir ce temps de glace-là. Puis comment ça vient justement changer ta game d'avoir tout ce temps-là pour le match?
Ben, c'est sûr, de jouer avec des joueuses comme Laura et Abby, c'est une belle opportunité pour moi. Puis j'espère que je peux les aider un petit peu à trouver de l'espace. Puis je veux dire, ça a été facile pour moi de faire un but avec la passe à Laura qui était directement sur mon bâton. Je pouvais pas manquer ça. En tout cas, j'aurais peut-être pu, mais aussi, je suis contente de ne pas l'avoir manqué. C'est sûr que ça fait du bien à ma confiance. Je pense que j'étais vraiment stressée aujourd'hui. C'est sûr que la confiance, c'est plus difficile quand tu as un différent rôle dans l'équipe, mais j'essaie d'y aller jour par jour, puis d'essayer de construire là-dessus. Fait que les 15 minutes aujourd'hui, c'est sûr que ça a fait du bien, puis j'espère juste devenir meilleur.
Kori, I mean, you chose Catherine to be put on the first line. She scored a goal. How satisfying that was.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy for all of our players when they get a chance to score, especially Doobie. Like, she works so hard every single day. She's played every single role on this team, and I think that takes a really special person. The character that she displays every single day, the great conversations that her and I have had when, things maybe weren't looking up for her and when things are looking great for her. And I think the best part about it is we get to work together every day and try to get her in situations and get everybody in situations that are going to help them succeed. And, I think she's done a great job of just, I didn't understand everything you said, but you were really fast. And I was trying to really focus in, but she doesn't have to do more. She doesn't have to do less. She just has to bring her style of game. And, I noticed in practice how much Stace and Abby were communicating with her. And they, Doobie, I think you scored like 10 goals in practice the other day on that line, which was an awesome thing to see, and just having the confidence to make different plays. And, we want to continue to give our players opportunities and get the best out of them. And Doobie is just taking advantage of that.
You talked a lot about how to finish the games after last game, how to play on 5-on-6, and then at the end of the game, we saw you, Laura, going past the blue line and scored the empty net. Was that part of the learning process?
Oh yeah, we talked a lot about that, and I definitely had some errors in the last 5-on-6 that I saw a couple times on video. So I think it was in all of our heads. I think we weren't satisfied. We were up. Obviously, we knew it was a pretty devastating loss for us, but we all said it. Better to happen then than later in the season. We learned from it, and I think that's exactly what we did. We went back to the drawing board. We had great conversations. We studied up on our video, and we had another opportunity tonight to learn again, and I think we took a step forward. And if we continue taking those steps every single game, whether it's a little thing like a 5-on-6, which is a big thing, it goes a really long way.
But Kori, how satisfying is it for a coach when you see like something you don't like? And I saw some different tweaks during the game, 3 days from the last game, and you see already something improve. Yeah,
I mean, this team, they're smart. They make the adjustments quickly when we ask them to. They were all asking for a 5-on-6 video, which like never happens. So I could tell that they were stressed about it. And I thought Laura was going to end up in the net with the puck because she was so worried about missing the net. So we were all laughing on the bench, like in a good way, when you scored, because she, the thing with our team is they all want to be perfect, and they're never going to be perfect, but they're striving for that. And when it doesn't go the way that they had hoped or the way they envisioned, they want to get right back at it. So for me, whether a team scores 5 on 6 or not, there was growth in their mindset to get better in an area that was a little bit unfamiliar and probably a little bit scary. And I think that that's the biggest learning for us. We could have gotten scored on tonight, and I still would have been proud of the fact that the way they responded and wanted to learn more about the concept. So it was great.
Kori, you mentioned with Catherine stepping up, but also, Maureen leaves the game. You have Skylar on that line. She ends up scoring a goal as well. What does it mean, even Tamara stepping up when Aaron goes down? So much was made about depth this offseason.
Yeah.
What does it mean to have the options and have them not just step into the lineup but make impacts when they get their chances?
Yeah, I mean, off season, we put a lot of time into our draft preparation. We put a lot of time into free agency and getting the players in the market, and then obviously re-signing the players in the market as well. And we knew that we were going to have one of the deepest teams in the league. And, when you think of Skylar, like, I know you guys probably don't know her personally, but she just like eats, sleeps, and breathes hockey. Like, there's nothing more that she wants to do with life, which is amazing because she's just a student of the game and she's constantly working at it. So you can give players like that an opportunity and know that maybe they're going to be able to contribute because they're just that passionate about it. You could even speak about in the 5v6, she was out there in the slot and she got a stick on a puck that was going backdoor to Carpenter, which Carpenter's pretty automatic from the weak side, and a lot of people wouldn't see that. I think a big focus for us as an organization has been to try to develop from within. We know that the future is unknown in terms of expansion and whatnot. So we've got to make the best with the players that we have this year, and we have to give these young players an opportunity, in controlled settings to allow them to grow and flourish. And luckily for us, everybody is stepping up, and that's what we need right now when we're depleted a little bit. Yeah.
With your win tonight, Kori, you created a traffic jam in the first spot of the standings. There's 3 teams tied with 39 points with 10 games to go. Are you looking at that in any way, or it's still one game at a time?
Definitely one game at a time. I noticed it when we were in last place at the beginning of the year. That was frightening. But I things can change so fast in this league, so you try not to focus on it because it's a bit of an outcome perspective, and we're constantly talking about, the habits and the details. Like, even after the game, like, we're happy, we're satisfied with the win, but we're constantly going to be focusing in on the habits and the details every single shift, that lead us to a win. In the last 5 minutes, we probably had too many turnovers. Like, if 5 on 6 aside, before the goalie was pulled, we probably had too many turnovers as a group. So, we're not worried about the win. We're worried about cleaning up those turnovers so that we can continue to press the opposition so that we can not even allow them to pull their goalie. So we've got to focus one shift at a time, and that's been kind of our process the whole time. Merci.
Merci. Thank you, guys.